But then I got the list of nonprofits. A couple of weeks later, I thought, I guess they're not going to call. So let me just look into it. And I got the list of nonprofits, and then I started calling them one by one. And the first one had been permanently closed. They had received
Permanently
the money.
closed. So they had received funds within the last year, thousands of
months.
dollars.
$65,000.
$65,000 6 months prior, and then closed by the time you called them.
Yep. I think they might be open now. I don't know.
Okay.
It's a little hard to know
Well,
with some of these.
And so, I mean, that must have perked your ears up even further.
Yeah, I thought, oh boy. And so I called as many, I think I called as many as I could. Some had a website, like one had a website that was compromised, and I was going to wreck my computer trying to find that. So many of them, probably 9, are for immigrants only. 2, one is for a prison advocacy. One is a theater group for prisoners.
Prison advocacy. I don't know how you even begin to relate that to the shooting victims and their families.
It's better. The same person, I believe he runs both of them, or at least he's high up in both of them. The other one is a theater group for ex-cons. These are both run or operated, or someone high up, by a person who killed a person with a gun.
Oh my goodness.
Served time. Received double the amount.
I literally don't even have any words for this, Amy.
Received over $130,000 for his 2 nonprofits, while some of the widows did not receive that much.
Well, okay, did not receive that much. And backing up, 162 individuals. And if you do the math, if they all receive the same amount, that's about 29,000. They did not receive the same amount.
No.
Okay. So some receive more, some receive less, depending on, I assume, circumstances and.
Well, there were 3 groupings.
Okay.
So there
Tell
were
us about that.
There were 18 people who were killed.
Yes.
So that group split about $3.2 million. Then the group of people who were injured, shot but survived, there's an amount of money that they each received, and it depended on the severity of their injury and how long they were in the hospital. And then the last group, so for that group, I know a couple of them. One received $30,000, another received $32,000. So they were shot, survived it. I know pretty well. She received $32,000. The last group.
Did that cover her hospital bills in entirety?
Her hospital bills should have been covered. The money for your medical should not have come out of the money from the MCF. That should not have happened. She ended up with a bill, which should not have happened.
Yeah, so explain that a little bit, because I've heard that from multiple victims, that they received a bill that then was not covered by anything, whether it was the fund or otherwise.
And they've had struggles to try and explain to people, the billers, that I should not be getting this bill. And instead they continue to get notices that they owe this money, and then, we're going to send it to collections, which is terrifying for someone who's a conscientious person and doesn't want that. So the last group were the people who were there but were not shot. So some people call them witnesses. I've said all along, there was a person in a room trying to kill them.
Yes.
That is more than witnessing an accident from across the street that was not threatening your life. So in my opinion, they survived their attempted murder.
Yes.
They received $7,000 from the fund.
Oh, wow.
And each nonprofit received
$65,522. $65,000 for nonprofits that had nothing to do with the shooting, did not help the victims or the survivors, the family members, any of the above. Got $65,000. And the people who were in the room fighting to avoid being murdered received $7,000.
And of that group, some got out through a kitchen.
Yeah.
Some laid on the floor pretending to be dead, hearing people next to them dying, hearing the noise of people being shot, knowing if they moved, they would be killed. Some hid in a closet. Some stayed wanting to help those who were shot at risk of their own peril. That group. That is trauma for a lifetime.
It is. It is. I know some of the folks who were there. It is trauma for a lifetime. And there's no amount of money that can make up for what happened to folks. But the injustice and the secondary trauma of having this, abuse of where these funds went is absolutely not right.
I mean, I called to continue the list. I called the YWCA. I keep picking on them, but I can't help it. This is what they told me. The executive director told me that she used the funds to put up a wall in the entrance of the building. And
For construction.
And they
Go
put
on.
in some cameras. And I grew up in a YMCA.
Yeah.
I grew up a swimmer. And I swam at that YWCA when I was a kid. And I was counting on that one.
Yeah.
Because I know the services that a YWCA can provide. Child kids can provide babysitting, daycare, swimming lessons, time in a gym, respite for a parent with young family when a father has gone. And they did none of that. They checked off the box on their wish list that they certainly had before the shooting, because she told me we'd been wanting to do that work for a long time.
Wow.
Really disheartening. I do have to say, Community Concepts started the Resiliency Center. So you would think, okay. The Resiliency Center is serving the survivors and family members.
Well, great. So what you're saying, Amy, is that there is one nonprofit out of 29 who used those funds, the $65,000 that they received, to help the victims and their families, which is literally what that money should have been used for in its entirety. So 1 out of 29.
Well, also, I did not call the nonprofit for the hearing impaired and deaf community.
So maybe 2 out of 29.
And there were 3 or 4 that provide counseling.
Okay.
So I called them and said, as a family member of a person who was killed in the shooting, would I receive counseling at a reduced rate or free? And none of them said yes.
Wow.
And I thought, what did you do? What's the money for then? And one gentleman said, I think they're using it to open a new office.
So literally, it's like the wish list checklist.
Yep.
Like
what it became.
whatever improvements we've been trying to do, that's what we're going to do with this money that we have been granted by the Lewiston shooting fund.
It was not required for them to be helping the survivors and family members.
So there was no accountability built into this whatsoever.
Right.
Folks could use it for whatever they wanted.
There were 36 nonprofits that applied. 7 were denied. 6 of them were not in Lewiston or Auburn.
Did they have reasons for why they denied those 7?
Yep. 6 were not in Lewiston or Auburn, and 1 did not complete their application.
So if they literally checked the box that they were in Lewiston or Auburn and completed the application, then they got funds. So if 100 orgs had said, yes, we're in Lewiston, Auburn, and they completed the application completely, then they would get funds.
Yeah, the way the Maine Community Foundation stated it in a statement to a reporter that asked, let me get it right, the nonprofits had to be in Lewiston or Auburn and could provide services for people with psychological trauma. I think I may be paraphrasing that.
And could.
But could is absolutely correct.
But didn't have to.
Not required. So I thought to
Not
myself,
required.
yeah, I could offer coffee in my house every other Tuesday, charge you for it, fill out that application, they'd probably give me $65,000.
Probably. Seems like a missed opportunity.
As long as
Amy.
I'm in Lewiston and Auburn, yeah.